Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Blundell.
No, you're not.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome. It's a great day. Snowing in Ottawa. By the way, we already just played. Can you guys come in?
Okay, here's what happened.
Yeah, let's see it.
Blundell does this all the time. He's like, okay, you guys ready to go? All right. Okay. All right. Give me a minute. I got to go take a dump.
Or
And
get a
then
coffee.
just disappears.
Yep.
So Linz is like, I'm going to take over the admin role and I'm going to go live without him. So that's exactly what we're doing.
So,
Right?
Guys,
Anybody
I
know
could
how
have done
to-
I could have done a much better job on that intro. I'm sorry.
You know what? You did a pretty decent Dean.
not
impersonation.
bad for like just like on the fly. That was pretty good for like
Yeah.
for improv.
This is
That
that.
was-
You
He's
know
still
what?
gone.
Linz, this is
Yeah.
how we get on time. This is how we actually get this thing started on time.
And we're still late. It's 3:09. Like, it's not even on time.
This
I
really
know.
bothers you, eh?
I can't wait. No, what, being on time? I can't wait. I can't
Yeah.
wait for him to come in. Okay, should we take bets on when he's going to be back?
No, because he's going to come in. He's going to think we're still off the air.
Oh, we have
and
to. We're supposed to take a screenshot.
Hopefully he won't.
I guess we could.
Hopefully he won't say something awful.
Somebody take a
'Cause
screenshot.
oh, I just saw the shadow on the back wall. He's on his way. There he is.
He's just watching the show.
I'm just getting cheesies. I'm just getting a snack for the show. You guys just started without me?
Yeah, you took too long. Marianne was getting really mad. Marianne got so mad waiting
Why?
for you. I don't know. That's why she says
Why's she so
EBT
mad?
in her name. You noticed?
No, listen,
Those
I'm happy you guys
Hawkins.
did. I take no offense to it. Before we get started, well, now that we're started.
We
after
already
we
got
get
started.
Best cheese.
Yeah, but it probably wasn't great. Let's be honest here.
She actually, Marianne did a
Fantastic.
A little-
did a bit of a Dean there.
Mhm.
Boom, 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 boom. Did you do a little dance? What'd you do? Did you say, hey, welcome to the show?
I was
How
like,
did you
welcome to
handle
the show. I'm Dean Blundell. That's
it?
what I
Did you
said.
talk like that? Did you talk like
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I had a little
don't
bit of
talk like
sass.
that.
Yeah.
She had a
Did
bit of
you?
the douche. She put a bit
was-
of douche twang on.
Why'd you get so
A little
mad?
bit.
Were you mad that I wasn't here to start the show? Is that why you got so
It's
pissed?
because you let
you
no.
said, "Are you guys ready? All right, you ready?" And then you went, "Oh, okay. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go take a dump." And then you
Pee.
took off.
Pete, no.
Okay?
But then you left again.
Then he
Yeah.
went to the store. He got cheesy.
No.
He went
No,
to
I
the
didn't go
store.
to. I didn't go to the store. I can't start on time. You guys know I have a thing. You guys
Yeah.
know that that's my problem, not yours. But I was just going to grab a coffee because it was on the thing, and then when I realized I had to go get a coffee to start the show, because I can't start the show without a beverage. You know that. What do you think this is? What do you think? Like a penal colony or
We
something?
all
No.
brought beverages.
Well, I
to
know,
the show
but
today.
like it's easy for you guys. You're
Some
just
of us
surrounded
prepare
by
ahead of
beer and
time.
alcohol and all kinds of real cool things. He's probably got whiskey in that cup. I had to get a coffee with like almond sweetener in it because I'm a bit of a fancy guy. So I
Yeah.
go to get the coffee and I'm
Fancy
like,
boy.
I'll just bring the cheesies in because I wanted to vamp about the cheesies anyway.
Mm.
So I
Hawkins
don't take offense to it. I'm glad you guys started. I just
Hands
want to know
down,
why you were
best
so
cheesies.
pissed.
what?
Hands
Right,
down,
100%.
best cheesies.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's not even. These are the only cheesies.
Yep.
And I just
Would
have
you-
to say something before we get started. We're at just the store. I have to say something before I
was just
get
there.
started.
No.
Yeah, you know where I got these? Store.
No. I was gonna say, where do you throw the cheese puffs into the cheesies
They're
conversation?
it's an abortion of a
Are
snack.
they? Because I don't even
No.
think
It's funny
I don't even
because
think they should
other
be
way
put
around.
into the cheese category. The
Absolutely
cheesy
not.
category, you can't include the
No.
puffs.
no,
No.
you can't.
No,
No, it's like no.
you know, the puffs is a puff. It's a puff. It's not a cheesy.
No.
And
Do you know how
what?
those were?
Thank
Do you
you.
know how
Cheetos
those were
also,
invented?
no, you know what? Here's the definitive
All right.
statement. If you eat Cheetos, you're not eating a fucking cheesy, and you know it. I know
There's
it. You know
something
it.
to be
Everybody else
said
knows
with
it. It's the worst
for a
secret in the
flavored
world.
Cheeto.
A Cheeto
Why are we?
is not a
Why
cheesy.
are we?
You know-
why are we
do you-
separating it? Why are we separate? Why can't we just put them all under Cheetos or cheesies or like?
Because
We don't hand
these
out
are
participation trophies here, Marianne.
Yeah.
Wait,
Puffs, do you
hold
call
on.
Do you call
hold on.
do you call a lacrosse stick a hockey stick?
No.
You
It's
call it
not
a
the
hockey
same.
stick.
A
Not the same
sports
thing in
stick?
any way, shape, or form.
Neither
the
is a
same
cheesy or a Cheeto or a cheese puff.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
a cheesy
You know
is when it's like a little harder and like bumpier. Is that
Yes.
what a cheesy is?
That's a
It's more
crunchy.
crisp. Oh, you know what I like? You know what the bulk bar?
A cheesy is a cheesy.
Okay, you know-
Cheesy. It's
Okay,
Hawkins
so
cheesies.
you know when you're in the
The only
bulk
one.
barn and there's like the party mix.
Yeah.
What's in the party mix? Is it a cheesy or is it a Cheeto?
No,
Like, what
that's
is
a
it?
That's
that's a
cheesy.
cheesy.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's bullshit. That's
Yeah, it
what
is
it is.
bullshit,
You know what's
though.
in
Yeah,
the
you're right.
party mix? Horse shit. That's what it is. You can't say you're a cheesy and not be from the Hawkins cheesy family made with real cheddar, real Canadian cheddar.
Agreed.
If you are not, it's like tequila. If it's not from Jalisco in Mexico, it's not tequila. Like champagne. If it's not from the Champagne region of France,
It's Prosecco.
it's Prosecco.
Hey, do
This
they get
is
do
the
they get
cheese.
cheesies in the states? Do
Sparkling
they get
wine.
the
No.
Hawkins cheesies in the
No, they
states, or is it
don't.
all Cheetos?
It's all
It's
here.
all Cheetos. They go,
That's the
these are
thing.
cheesies. Well, that's
I
'cause
knew
they're
that
vegan.
Hawkins cheesies were Canadian. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if
Yeah.
wow, they're really missing out. I feel bad
Right.
for Americans now.
And
I do
the
too.
funny
They got
funny thing
Trump
about
and no
No
Hawkins.
cheesies.
funny thing about cheesies, they were
Yeah.
invented by accident. You know that, right? They
No.
were actually their cheesies are cheese puffs that were left in too long, and they shrink down,
I like
and they
them when they're
realized,
crunchy.
shit, these are probably really good. Kind of like fryer leavens when you go, like fat guys love fryer leavens, right? Like if you go into a restaurant, say, give me the fryer leavens, you can
I
get
don't know what that
that-
is.
just the crunchy bits that come at the
The
bottom
fryer,
Mm.
the
Fryer
fryer
later.
leave-ins.
Fryer
Fryer
leave-ins.
leave-ins.
Oh, I thought it
Kinda
was like
like
some fancy
alcoholics
name.
really like drinking the mat at the end of the night because it
Yeah.
doesn't actually cut
can't.
into the.
Yeah, they take that mat where they got all the
Yeah.
spillage and they throw it in. You're wrong, Lynn's. Hawkins cheesies came about when someone at the company saw a newly developed machine that extruded pellets of corn for feeding cattle. They
Wrong.
thought, if we
Wrong. It was a mistake. It was.
if we
it was
deep
born from
fry
mistake.
them and add cheese, it will be delicious, said Professor Thiessen, whose snack passion was a potato chip.
Professor Cheesin.
Thiessen.
Oh, Thiessen.
Do you know where they originally started? And this
No.
is interesting. You're going to like this. Tweed, Ontario, just outside Belleville. That's right.
Yeah.
That's where cheesies. W.T. Hawkins was founded in the small town of Ontario. Revolutionary idea, first created in the United States. So this is a Canadian thing. We stole it from them, kind of like we stole their brain trust, and we have all the water in the world. We're not sharing this with them either. And it happened in 1956. Almost a decade of growth occurred before tragedy struck. Hawkins and Marker decided to head north with their product because America was like, fuck, we don't like your cheesies. And in Tweed, they're like, not only do we love your cheesies, we're going to give you a whole place to make cheesies. And to this day, that is where they come from.
American
Get
snacks
outta
are
here.
subpar.
That's
always.
kind of cool, actually.
It is
Isn't that
really
nice?
Yeah. That's a nice little Canadian story.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we just did this whole song and dance just for you to like actually for as an excuse for why it took you 8 hours to come on the show.
No, oh, you're getting it. Good. Thanks.
Is that what
for-
happened?
You're welcome.
Thanks for getting.
You know
here.
what,
Do you know what he
Marianne?
does?
I'm gonna fill you in on something that's gonna help you with
I make
relationships
everything
with men
your
moving
problem.
forward.
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna be something that you can actually
Okay.
take, and you can
Okay.
actually use this
I'm
to be
listening.
constructive for all of your ongoing relationships.
Can't
There
wait for
does-
this.
This is
Okay.
gonna be great.
Men don't always need a reason to deal with stuff or talk about stuff.
No. Sometimes we just
you're trying to put some sort of
Yeah.
like, why are we doing this? As soon as you do that with men, you're in trouble.
we don't need a reason to
Is
do
that
You
why
anything.
I'm
don't need
single?
a reason to do anything.
Nope.
Well, there could be other reasons, but I mean, that will help you
Wow.
form a relationship moving forward.
Fuck.
What a
I
didn't
felt
say-
that.
That wasn't a shot.
Jesus Christ. He doesn't hear himself when he talks. He doesn't.
That wasn't a shot. That was just I don't know Marianne that well.
Yeah,
Brian,
I'm
if I-
laughing.
I want to point out that EBT is beside my name because it means extra bitchy today. So I should start. So I should start putting fire as to how spicy I am or how bitchy I am. I should start putting little emojis.
Yeah.
So you can't hurt my feelings, or you have to be nicer to me after like 3 emojis. I
Okay.
think.
All right. All right.
so-
Well,
All right,
I'll
we
work
were
on that. That's something
that a
I'll
thing?
work
Lachlan's our
on.
lightning rod today.
Can I ask you a question? Is EBT a thing in the female Twitter community? Is it like what you put on your profile if you're
No, Lynn's
No,
told
I
her
just
to
made
put
it
it
up.
on
I came
there.
up. I
Yes.
came up to it. I
Literally
came
just
up
made
to
it up.
EBT today? EBT
Yeah,
is extra.
yeah.
Is that? Did you just make that up yourself
we,
right there?
we just made it up. Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh,
is
did you say it, Ryan?
Yeah,
I was
in
in
here.
here. I
you?
was getting some cheesies. I didn't know. I didn't. See
I
that
labeled
part.
her that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And I'm the
Congratulations.
bad
You
guy.
didn't
I'm
label-
taking some heat for Lachlan now.
Yeah.
I labeled her that.
Okay, so Locke, so in the future, if guys are boring the shit out of me with whatever they're talking about, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna listen to whatever the fuck you're saying.
No,
You get a
no,
lot
no,
of
no,
that
no,
today.
no,
Explain it.
no.
What?
You're allowed to point out if we're being like ridiculous. You were searching for a reason why we were talking about cheesies, and I was like, that's the wrong angle. You just need to go into this going, oh, they're idiots. They can spend 30 minutes talking about fucking cheesies. Like, that's what I was just trying to help you. It wasn't about whether
Oh,
or
okay.
not. Yeah, that's all
Mansplaining
it
to
was.
Whether or not
No,
you're
and-
lovable,
You
like
know
you're
what I
probably
really
not.
loved? Yeah, what I loved about your help there too is how when she said, "Is that why I'm single?" and you said there are probably other reasons. That was really helpful too.
That was helpful.
That yeah,
Absolutely.
way to go. Did you feel helped by that, Marianne?
You know what? I
feel
feel
like you
so
may
much
have.
better.
Yeah, well,
I feel great.
you know what I
We
think
knew
it
we
is.
would
I
have
think
an
that
impact on your
enormous
day today.
Peter North microphone scares the shit out of guys. That's what I think it is. It's
Yeah.
like I can't measure up.
Clearly, she's
I
got a
actually-
better
I
friend
should
than
start
me.
bringing my microphone to dates. I should
You
start
should
bringing it.
just put it in
You're
your
like,
pocket
Are you,
too.
Ask them if they feel threatened by it.
are you
I
okay?
am-
416 big? No, then we can't. We can't be together.
Okay, so that brings me to the question. Marianne joins us. She's from the Let's Take This Outside
No,
podcast.
you're
here at
joining
Dean-
me today.
I'm joining
joining-
Marianne on
Yeah.
my show, but she's got her own show. It's called Let's Take This Outside podcast, and it's a tremendous. And we love it when you stop by. We're trying to do this weekly because we love having you around. Gives us to say and do all kinds of things you can't when it's just a whole bunch of guys on the show. So you're not an out for us. You make us better, and you always do every time you're on the show. And I love it when
Thanks.
you're around, and specifically today because
I'll second
what we
that.
saw, yeah, you should, and so should Ryan because we all do. Well, you
That
just
would be a
saw
third.
here where Lachlan got a little bitchy about something just for entertainment purposes. He did the other day too when we were talking about Pete Davidson. So
I
big
saw-
story. Yeah, big story. And in our DMs, we've been going back and forth on this. Obviously, the news that butthole face Pete Davidson is dating maybe one of the hottest swimsuit models in the history of swimsuit models, Emily Ratajkowski. She just got divorced after having a baby because her idiot husband decided to go out and have sex with other people. So
You know what they say.
Lachlan has had a major problem with Pete Davidson because he doesn't think, as we pointed out, Pete Davidson is good
Okay,
and good looking enough
hold
for
on a second.
anybody.
I've
Hold on. Okay, look, can I
It's
stop
a
just
man's
one second?
world.
Yeah.
This pic. So if we showed a picture of her without, okay, this is not a good picture of him. It's clearly just paparazzi taking a shot of him. He's clearly maybe hasn't slept well, whatever. And she is red carpet ready. She has a bunch of makeup. She's a beautiful woman. But like you're comparing these photos that are not equal at all. If you have him on the red carpet, he's going to look better than that. This is ridiculous that you compare
Let me
these
find
photos.
one.
Oh, no,
side
I
by
got
side.
it. I actually, you know what? And case in point, you're 100% correct. And I apologize.
no,
You're
she's
right. I'm
not.
using-
She's.
No,
why are
I've
we
got
being
a
nice
red
to her?
carpet.
You,
I'll
have
tell
you
you
hit
why.
your head?
No,
Look
I'll
at
tell you
him.
why. No,
Like,
he's an
you
ugly
could
man
put
on
a
that picture. And
bucket
that's,
of
and they
makeup
used the-
on that
No,
guy,
they
and
used
he's
the shit
still
picture
gonna
on
look like
purpose. They used the
7-Eleven.
shit picture on purpose. I get it. Okay, here's a red carpet one. This is Pete on the red carpet, and this is Emily Ratajkowski on the red carpet. Way better, if you ask me. That's
Oh yeah.
that's way better.
Like couldn't. Wow. Totally different people.
He's not an attractive man, and I don't really
He's
have a way
not.
of-
He's not. I don't think he's ugly though. Like he's not. He's like an average looking guy. Like he's.
Which brings me to my question, which was
Okay.
the whole reason we wanted, many other reasons, but really one of the most important reasons why we wanted you on the show is because this started a fight last week. Lachlan hates this guy because of the kind of
I don't hate
strange he
Pete
can pull.
Davidson.
Why not?
I don't hate Pete Davidson. I
He
am
hates his game.
annoyed. I'm annoyed by his ability to confuse the entire population of the planet. It's annoying.
Except for Locke.
I think it's only brought joy to humanity.
No,
Honestly.
I think it's torn a
that's a
rift
lie,
in the
too.
time continuum, and it's the reason why we're having wars around the world. And like, I think it's throwing the equilibrium.
Oh, this is the
of
butterfly
planet off.
effect somewhere.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. But this is actually, I'm after I saw the show, you said Monday, right? That you had this,
Yeah.
this chat. And then I started DMing you guys and I'm like, this is not like, I don't think you realize how important a personality is to a female. So I put it a little, thank you for putting it up there.
You're welcome.
So straight women of Twitter, does a sense of humor make a man more attractive? It's top priority in my books. Please take my fun poll. So what are we at? 93%?
92.9% say either top
That's 90,
priority
yeah,
or
93.
very important. Yeah.
Can I weigh in?
No.
Hold on,
you can
I'm not done yet.
You're not a
Marianne
straight
take it.
woman of Twitter.
Yes.
All right.
you should.
Okay. I want to comment on that specifically.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and comment.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
he's not allowed. No, you're not allowed. You go ahead and finish up, Marianne.
But just factual. Okay, so if there is an average looking man and he's incredibly funny and very charming, and I find I was talking with someone about this the other day, that if someone's very funny, that usually means that they're really smart. Right? If they're witty, if there's a lot of great banter, that's top priority. And that's key for me. If someone can like play off me, because I'm pretty sassy and I can hold my own. Right. So if someone can like hold a conversation, be funny as hell, keep up with me, have banter, make me laugh, it's definitely a way to my heart. And I know lots of women that it's very high. Clearly 93% of women say on my Twitter anyway, that it's top priority. It's very, very important for a guy to be funny. There's something about it. It'll bring like a 6 to like a 9, or it'll bring like a 5 to an 8 or a 10. Because personality is so important. That's what lasts, that magic, that chemistry, that is what is sustaining. It's not necessarily good looks. Like I've talked to a lot of very attractive, muscular, athletic men, and there's like nothing.
Me.
Nothing.
So I'm not in that category.
That last one was very pointed.
Yeah, muscular. Go ahead.
But my point is, Locke, is that an average looking man, if he's funny, if he can like make a woman laugh so hard her panties fall off, then like I think it happens. It absolutely happens. Anyway,
I know Lachlan wants to weigh in, but let's just go back to that poll before Lachlan sewers everything you said. And here's why I want to go back to that poll, because I would agree with you. In my estimation, my only advantage when it came to being or courting or hanging out or dating was a sense of humor. It was my ability to be able to put a couple of sentences together. That was pretty much it. Everything else out the window. So I'm in the 93%, thank God. What I found interesting is you had 516 votes. It was only a few hours that you put this post up, so you got great traction. Is that 4.1% are like, and 3% of women that you polled want to date a fucking dead person.
Yep.
A total zombie. Not important at all.
Trolls.
No. They just said it's not their top priority. It doesn't mean they're actually looking for somebody. It means they have other things
said it's
that
not
they
important
feel
at
that
all.
are more important.
Not important at all. That means they don't care. That means that like any one of the women that answered that question with not at all probably wants to hang out with like James or something.
Somehow I'm going to get blamed for that.
Locke,
Yeah, you are. It's totally Lachlan.
Okay, I love him.
I also want to flip. I want to flip it around too, and I want all of your opinions too.
Yeah,
but Locke, I want to flip this around to
slap
the other.
it up, flip it, rub it down.
So you're a guy. You're talking. Locke, say pretend you're single. You're in your 20s, your 30s, and you're talking to like a cute girl. She's cute, but she's funny as hell. She's like super funny. Like, doesn't that make her like way more attractive? Right?
Listen,
100%.
I am not. This is where I jump in because I don't want to get too far away from the Twitter poll.
Okay.
I have no problem with where you prioritize creativity, personality, looks, pecs, sense of humor. I don't care. The problem I have with the Pete Davidson, Emily Ratajkowski is that there is a disparaging difference between the two of them. like a massive chasm. Okay, hear me out.
Can I ask you a question about that first? Let me
Another
just
question.
for context this question, because I would agree with you. What Marianne's talking about is a 6 to a 9 or a 5 to a 7.
Math
What
still
we're
doesn't
talking
work
about
out.
is a 0 to a 12. That is not happening here. That's
She's
what
not
you're
even a
talking
12.
about.
She's a 20, and I'll give you Pete a 2 or 3 if we're being fair.
No, he's like a
The guy's in the toilet. So you get let's say I'll give you 5.
Looks like a Muppet character.
Give him another couple of points because he's funny. Sure. Okay. So you're working with a 7 against a 20. I don't have a problem with you thinking that a guy needs to have a sense of humor, Marianne. I'm telling you that this math doesn't make sense no matter how you slice it. And every time somebody keeps coming to me with some sort of indication about why this makes sense, I keep going back to the same point that I've made from day one on this.
Chasm's too wide.
It doesn't matter. I don't care how big his dick is. I don't care how nice he is. I don't care what his sense of humor is.
Also
he
money.
is taking women to bed that are viewed to be the best looking people on the planet. And he looks like he does the night shift at 7-Eleven.
Okay.
I've noticed that every time we bring math up on this show, Lachlan gets upset.
Well, of course he does. So
First of all, we're making up random numbers here. First of all,
Yeah.
but
Well, he is.
Do you not
He's making up
do you
random
not
numbers.
think that Emily Ratajkowski or whatever her name is,
Ratajkowski.
do you not think she is one of the most beautiful women in the world?
she's beautiful. Yeah, like she's a model.
absolutely
Yeah, she's beautiful.
stunning. And
Yeah, she's
where would you
beautiful.
put Pete? Where would you put Pete? I mean,
These
you
are
didn't
bad-
know him.
These are bad photos. I want to point
Okay,
out.
hold
these
it
are
though.
bad
Hold
photos.
it. If you didn't know that he had
He's cute. He's like a
a
5.
10-inch
yeah, yeah,
penis,
6.
and if you didn't know he was on Saturday Night Live and had a few million in the bank and was fairly famous, if you
That
didn't
guy
know
shows up
those
at a bar.
things-
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say this guy walks into your local farm boy, and you're there to get cherry tomatoes and a whole bunch of broccoli because you love broccoli. And this guy walks in and he's like, "How you doing?"
you'd think he's there to sell you drugs.
Or you'd think he was going to follow you to your car, and you'd probably ask a store manager to walk you and your groceries to your vehicle.
Yeah.
I still stand by the fact that you guys are showing terrible photos. Number one.
There is
Um,
not.
but
I looked today for an hour. There is not a good photo of Pete Davidson. 'Cause
Okay.
he
He
is not
doesn't.
an
He's
attractive
not a
man.
photogenic individual. He just
not
Then
isn't.
what do you guys think if a very ugly man who's extremely rich is with a super hot chick like that?
We
which
say the
happens
same
all the
thing.
time.
We say the same thing. The only reason that it happened is because he's got money. We're realistic about it.
Yeah.
Women are trying to defend the he must have a good sense of humor. Men don't do that. Men see that disparity in a relationship with looks and go, that guy must drive a Corvette and he has a house in Phoenix. And then we're all like, oh, okay, all right. And we all go on about our day. No one starts talking about what he has. No, everybody just goes, dude, that's the
lie.
reason.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Every time a guy, if I see a guy walk in, an old guy, an ugly guy, disgusting guy, a fat guy with a supermodel, I think 2 things. First of all, guy's got to have a massive hammer. There's no way that happens unless that guy's got something going on downstairs. Number 1. Number 2, the guy's got money, right? I don't think sense of humor. I don't think any of those things. I think money and wiener. Money, wiener. Big wiener, lots of money. That cancels out looks and sense of humor, right? Are those parts interchangeable, Marianne, in your world? In the world of females? Are those parts interchangeable when you're like assessing whether or not you want to be with a guy? Because to you, sense of humor, brilliance, being bright, being smart, being able to carry on a conversation, very, very important, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't like those awkward silences. Like myself, I hate them all. Being with someone who's stupid is generally terrible. I've done it a couple times. It's the worst. So when I say that, I will say this, is that if those people had lots of money, I might have thought differently, or I might have stuck it out. But they didn't, and it wasn't.
Would you have?
No, I wouldn't have. I would have left anyway.
No, you wouldn't.
I fucking just give people money. I don't care anyway. But my point is this: is that in your world, like for a guy, we don't ever think, oh, well, maybe when you get to a certain age, I guess. I've never thought I'd like to hook up with a girl with lots of money, because that means I can look past the fact that she's got the face of a camel, and she's not a lot of fun to be with. So she's got a lot of money. I can do it because it's visually we
tremendous.
see that more and more, right? As guys, we look at really ugly guys. Like we can tell the disparity between a really ugly guy and a really attractive woman. We know what's going on. We get.
Well,
it
I get the
'cause we're
looks
guys.
too. I get the looks when I'm out with my wife.
Do you?
What are you doing with your dad?
Huge hogger. He's loaded.
So can I
Okay,
can I
so-
add in something, Marianne, just quickly about
Yeah,
my
and then I'll
like,
answer the question.
pre-marriage
Yeah.
thing? So for me, when I was younger and I was looking for someone to spend time with in the female arena, I was wildly turned off by women that I thought were dumb. I don't know how else to say it. I was searching for another word.
That's right.
And when I met my wife and I realized that she was quite bright and could hold her own, it made her more attractive to me.
Mhm.
It made her wildly more attractive. I had met some women that looked fine, aesthetically, very pleasing, but just like nothing there. And I was looking for something more in a relationship, in a partner. And maybe I don't know. I was just as horny as every other 18, 19, 20-year-old dude, but I would not have taken a girl home and slept with her if there was some lack of attraction to the personality.
Okay.
So I get that. I understand that.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that at all in jest. I 100% mean it. Not that I had 100 opportunities to go sleep with women that weren't that smart, but it didn't present itself very often. But I know what you're talking about with that. This is not that. And the closest thing that I have had to anybody explaining the Pete Davidson thing is, I think in a lot of relationships, when you have a codependency situation, you have some guys are just way better at sharing their weaknesses and sharing their struggles than other men. And I think he's a sensitive guy. And I think he is also connects with women on that level, in that he is able to share things about himself and things he's going through. And women, I think, are wildly attracted to a guy that can do that. And then women quite often, and this isn't always the case, some women don't give a shit about where men are at, and they don't care about fixing them. But some women, a lot of women that I have met, take on a partner, and it's like a project. All right. Okay. He's not perfect. He doesn't dress very well. I don't like his car. Maybe we can get him out of the sunfire. Right. And I think there's a sense that I get a sense that these women are like, come home with me. I'll fix you. You're a little bit ugly, but we're going to work with you, and I'm going to make things better. And then it doesn't work out because he is very broken, I think. And that's why all these relationships they go 6 months, and then he just goes on to the next one that confuses the entire planet.
A lot.
I think that's a lot.
And I'm not even really sure what you said, but
I
that
do
was a lot.
think no. So I agree on okay, but I want to
Those were words.
I want to double down on the fact that if a guy is emotionally intelligent, might be different than what you're saying, like more broken. But if he's able, I think that women like we're so far ahead when it comes to like trying to learn about ourselves and being emotionally intelligent. So if a guy is able to like explain his feelings and connect with us in that way, that gives, again, that adds another couple of points to the attraction scale, right? But the broken thing, I don't know. Like you could hypothesize that, I guess, for sure, that people maybe think he's broken and they want to bring him home, whatever. But
it's kind of it's well documented that he's quite broken. Do you know about his father?
No, I don't.
His dad was a firefighter in 9/11, ran into a building and never came out.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he died in 9/11.
Yeah.
And Pete has struggled with depression and anxiety. and self-medicates with a lot of weed.
Mhm.
So he smokes quite heavy. And again, I think he does share that.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Shares that with these partners, right?
okay, then another part. Okay, another angle on this too. So these women like Kim Kardashian and what's her name?
Kate Beckinsale.
Emily
Kate Beckinsale.
Ratajkowski, Kate
Yeah. Kate
Beckinsale, Kim
Beckinsale.
Kardashian, Ariana Grande,
Ariana Grande.
Wyatt
So if
Gerber.
thank you.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
all of these
You're welcome.
women have seen them, if other women have seen them with him, he's now in that category. He is now forever
He's
able
been
to
unlocked.
get whoever. Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
unlocked to this. I love this song.
That's one of my favorites.
So
Pete
good.
Davidson within a
So
week
good.
and he arrives in heaven. He's with Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Ryan-
This is my favorite Pete Davidson tweet of all time. Some dude named Mello. He's like, me checking for Pete Davidson before I take off from my girl's house.
I saw a tweet from a very, very, very prominent soul star. She's in her 70s, and she said that she was next in line. So there's
It was
and,
Dionne
like, there-
Warwick.
Yeah.
Dionne Warwick was
Dionne
looking
Warwick.
for
Yeah,
Pete
yeah.
Davidson's
She
hammer.
said,
Yeah, it
"I'm
was an
next.
incredible
I'm
tweet.
next."
She's like,
Next.
hope I'm next, everybody.
Locke,
Continue,
Locke, you just
Marianne.
have to.
Go ahead.
Locke, you just have. I think you just need to accept that, like Ryan said, he's almost like unlocked a new level that most men will never get to. Right. So he's almost now in the same category as Brad Pitt. He is now in that realm of being able to date whoever
Are you hearing
he
the
wants
words
to.
coming out of your mouth?
But what I'm saying is,
Brad Pitt, isn't he?
but what I'm saying is true because he
That
is
is not true.
Brad
is
Pitt
getting-
stain.
he is getting with every if you're this Emily girl and she's like, oh, this guy was with Kim Kardashian, and if I bone him too, that means that
Right.
I'm also like in the same
owning Kim Kardashian.
Can I ask you a question? Because I've maintained silence here. Had to sit through Lachlan
Same.
talk about cheesecloth and sadness and something. So
Let him go.
And then
9/11 came up.
9/11. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, we're talking about Pete. You're like,
Terrorists.
what happened to his dad? I'm like, do we have to make this a sad conversation?
I
Get
think
the
it's
plane out of the
important.
building and put it right into
I
the mountain
think-
for the show.
Here's my
I think
here's
it's
my theory.
important.
This is my Pete Davidson Riz theory. Riz, by the way, is like cool online guy talk. I learned that the last week.
Riz?
Cool online for like ability to pick up. Riz. That's what's called. Riz. Oh,
What is not
jeez, your
annoying
Riz
at all?
almost hit you in the
I
head.
wonder what's
Um,
in that mug.
So here's the thing, and I would like to put this to you, Marianne, from a male to a female perspective.
Okay.
There's a rebound thing here. There's a penal rebound theory. And here's my theory. All of these women that came for Pete, right?
Mhm.
Emily Ratajkowski comes off a relationship with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, there's rumors out there he doesn't have a big one. Obviously, with her boyfriend, broke up with him. She's publicly talked about him not having a big one. So there's that. Kim Kardashian. I've heard stories about Kanye's hammer. Also not a big one. She had to deal with that for a long time.
And dealing with him in general.
yeah.
Holy
This is a
fuck.
All
lot
that
of-
stuff.
This is a lot of penis talk. Okay?
Well, hang on. Just wait. Let me hear it. Kate Beckinsale.
Have you
She's
seen the
married to this
microphone?
little British guy for a long period of time. It's like, what the fuck? I don't even know what happened. Anyway, that's over. Apparently, British
Yep.
guys. Here's my question.
Okay.
Is
Aren't you
this
British?
yeah, totally. Small, tiny penis. Say whatever you
Microphallus.
about me. I don't care. I know what I'm dealing with, and I'm a pretty happy guy. So I will say this. Is this not a big penis rebound thing for a lot of these women? Haven't they kind of all heard, like, from
Again,
his
we're
first
just
time with
propping up the
Ariana
female-
Grande? Yeah. She's like, she releases like the news to the world that, oh my God, Pete Davidson has she said 10.5-inch penis. And she couldn't believe it. And then Pete said some stuff about what it looked like when they were going for it. And then that news goes around the world and it's viral. And they're all like this. Don't mind if I try some of that.
Okay. Valid.
So-
Valid.
Yes.
But also, I can't believe we're diving into this.
Let's
But
do it.
size does not necessarily mean it's going to be good.
Well,
my
they don't
point.
stay, so that's probably true.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean. Maybe it's a curiosity. Or maybe if they've had if a woman has not been satisfied and has had a bad sex life for years, and then she hears that this guy's has the potential for that, perhaps there's some curiosity behind that too, right?
So it does play into Dean's theory that this could just be a rebound thing.
He's a
It
stunt
could be a rebound thing, or maybe they were in
Stunt
terrible
cock,
relationships.
that's a good
Maybe,
one, yeah.
You know what? Other theory. Maybe they were treated like shit. Maybe they were bad relationships. Like they may have been very attractive men, but maybe they were just bad, like, terrible partners. And then they meet this guy who's like really funny and really charming and probably has a huge hammer. And they're like,
And works
okay,
at 7-Eleven, the night shift.
right, yeah,
And when
sure.
no one's around, does whippets.
Doesn't get a lot of sleep.
I'm
Or
telling
iron.
you, I think it's a combo. I think we're on to something that, and Marianne,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're handling this in a mature way because this is a tough subject to cover.
I don't think any of this
This is-
explains
he's
any
a
of it,
stunt-
and I
no,
think it's
dude,
the reason why we have
if
such
you were
problems around the
single
world.
and if you were on the
Wars,
prowl
famines,
and and some
hurricanes,
woman out there was like,
an
oh my
imbalance.
God, she leaks the news that Lachlan Cross has an enormous penis, right?
which I do.
And he
wants us
they
to
leak the
ISO that.
news, and then all of a sudden you start getting hit up on DMs, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, that's weird. That's what's happening here. Because there is no way, because I'm with Lachlan on the gap theory. There's no way
You can't explain it.
a
There's no
two
math.
keeps getting together with 15s and 20s. There's just no way. Unless
Marianne's
he's
unlock
got a
thing.
sense of humor, and unless he has a huge penis, and unless he's got lots of money. So it's almost like one of three of those four things have to be there. You got to be good looking, you got to have money, you have to have a large penis, and void of looks, they'll take money. Void of penis size, they'll take money. Void of sense of humor, they'll take money. It's almost like the money is the all-time canceller of all the other things.
But these
That's
women
how
all
it
have
is.
money.
Here's
These
the
women
thing.
all have their own money.
I
though,
know.
so I don't
There's-
know if we can look
I
at
know,
that.
so
Yeah.
that's not there. So they're like, he's ugly. That's
Yeah.
out. I got more money than him. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So what's left? He's
Can we-
unattractive. He's funny, but he has huge penis.
Okay, can we do Lachlan math for a quick second?
No.
Okay, so
Well,
we're
there's no
doing
such
this.
thing.
We're doing the scale for a second. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's add things up. Okay, so funny. Let's give him 5. Say he's very funny and very charming personality.
writing
Let's
it
give him
down.
5. Let's give him 5 fake points. Okay, 5 for that.
points.
Huge hammer, another 5. 6.
That's a 10.
Why not?
Yep.
That's 10 already, right?
That's
So
11, okay.
now it's and money. So let's give him another 2 for money. So he's
2
what
for
at
money.
like 13. So
Yeah.
at 13 now he's almost at the same level. So
Mm.
that's what you sound like, Locke.
So this
It's
is
like this fake
compounded math then?
that you're
This
doing.
math is compounded?
That is what you sound like. You're just making shit up.
Yep. You loser.
Fucking asshole.
Still doesn't work.
Oh, it makes all the sense in the world. Now that Marianne has put it that way
She's
from the
breaking
Let's
it
Take This
down,
Outside
yeah.
podcast, she's breaking it down perfectly.
Mhm.
If
I'm
you-
at the
if
point-
You
no.
assign, no, hang on. We got to assign points here. I'm going to do it with my fucking pen
Go
and a
ahead.
piece of paper. Look,
I've
I need
got it
to
here.
weigh in here.
I
how
said
much is looks?
5.
5, maximum 5.
I said
Oh
5.
no. Oh, his
Penis
his
size?
Cock
his-
size was
oh, wait, hold
6.
on, hold on.
You gave
His
him
looks, let's
5
give him
for
3.
penis.
3. Let's give him 3. No.
3 for
penis.
looks.
Penis
For
is
what?
more. So 3 for looks.
You gave him
3 for
6
looks.
for penis.
6 for penis.
6
Okay,
for
well then
penis is
I'm
9.
then I'm a
And you gave
15.
him
Let her
2 for
finish.
money.
I give him
I'm a
2 for
15.
money.
Give him
Somebody
2
get
for
Emily
money.
on
Yeah.
the phone.
What do you
So
do
that's
for
11.
sense of humor? Where do you put sense of humor?
I put 5 for sense of humor.
So you put penis
So
at
six-
6 and sense of humor at 5?
All
We
right,
need
so that's
another
16.
Twitter poll.
That's 16
How big
now.
is his Twitter poll? Yeah.
It's pretty big.
That's 16 now.
5.
He's at 16. In fact, now he's more attractive than Emily. What's her name?
No, we gave her a
Rachikowski.
20,
We've-
remember?
We have
She's a
now.
20.
And I was being I was the
moving
20
the
I'm
goalposts.
He was-
seriously, I was
Rounding down, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He really likes her. And Halsey. He really likes Halsey, too. He's a big
like
Emily
Halsey, too.
Rachikowski fan and a Halsey
Mm.
fan. So
Yeah.
wait a second. Looks are 3, penis is 6. What was 2?
It was money.
Money.
Money?
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ryan.
That is
Yeah,
such
and
a
funny
load of
was
shit.
5.
Funny was 5. So what do we got here? We got 16,
16.
as you guys
Yep.
said. Out of a total of 6. Pete Davidson has he
right, well,
doesn't have
hold
looks.
on.
He's ugly.
You
That's a
ignored
0.
my math, Marianne.
That's a
I'm
0.
ignoring yours. And this is what I'm going to tell you. This is how we can move
He's
on
a
to the
13
next
out of
topic.
10. He's a 13 out of 10.
I'm seriously at
According to
the
that math.
point right now where I'm going to blame Pete Davidson for every problem we have on the planet because
Okay.
there is imbalance in the world. And if he keeps doing this, like if someone steals my car, it's going to be Pete Davidson's fault.
Yeah.
If there's a tornado in Edmonton tomorrow, guess who I'm going to be calling that tornado Pete?
I like
We're
this,
at a
though, 'cause
point
it
right
gives
now-
us something to point at, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Linz. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at. You can be at the oh, I'll date him. I'm going to be at he keeps throwing off the balance on the planet based on who he has been betting. And it's a problem.
So his force has done this. Like the negative vacuum that he has produced in the world has created this upset in the entire.
I will say this does not make any sense.
It doesn't.
No.
But if you hold it, if you do Marianne's math, 16. It makes sense.
He's a 16.
Marianne's guy math.
That's Prince Charming.
Looks 0, penis 6.
No, I said 3. Okay.
No, out of 5. You're 3. Looks
I don't know.
His looks are 3 out of 5. He's a 0. He's the ugliest man in show business.
Sure, we'll give him 0. Why not?
He's a 0. He's still a 13 out of 10.
Still ends up at 13.
I feel like I accomplished nothing, and I feel like I just wasted everyone.
You've opened up our universe. You've made this make sense.
I have not. In fact, I think I've even. I feel like if there was a coffin that Locke is laying in this thing, I feel like I put a few more nails in that coffin. I feel like he's doubling down on it now that I challenged him on it. So
let's switch gears,
please.
From an ugly guy who keeps getting laid to an ugly guy who keeps having kids with every woman he meets.
Oh my God.
Nick Cannon is not ugly.
Nick Cannon.
No. I get the Nick Cannon thing.
Just had another kid.
2, wasn't
it? 2.
No, one's pregnant and one's yeah.
He's got 2 women pregnant now. Is that the deal?
One just had a kid. Read this out loud.
Just in time to celebrate Thanksgiving as a family, another one of his partners, Abby De La Rosa, the mother of his twins born in 21, welcomed Zeppelin Cannon on November 11th. So thank you for telling me to read it. Now, model Alyssa Scott, the mother of Cannon's late son, who died in December, announced that she's also pregnant and confirmed that Nick Cannon is the father.
Have you guys heard my idea?
Locke, you get this? You get that this man has 12 children. This is
no. I think Nick Cannon is a very attractive. I think Nick Cannon is an attractive man, right? And I don't know him. I don't know if he's funny or whatever. But when you see him standing next to one of his latest baby mamas, I don't go, "What? Oh my God, what's going on here?" I don't get angry. I go, "That guy needs a condom." Stop.
Elon Musk applauds him.
It doesn't so that doesn't upset. Okay, but we don't know the situations of all of these women, right? Like, are they okay with each other? Like, is it like sister wives? Like, what is the situation?
Have you heard my question?
I don't think he gives a fuck. That's what I'm guessing. Like, by all that, he's got 12 kids now with I think 5 different women. Yeah, and I'm guessing he doesn't really give a fuck. Like, I don't think they do either. I think he hates condoms. I think he might be Catholic.
Really likes sex with a lot of different women.
And really enjoys it. And they got to be okay with it. It's like the Raptors' former small forward. His name is Lou Williams. He came to town when the Raptors traded for him, I think from Philadelphia. He comes to town. He brings both his wives with him. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. So we start talking about it. And at the time I was working at a sports radio station. And I'm like, this is crazy. He's like, we get a phone call from the red, like, do not talk about that. I'm like, polyamory? Are you kidding me? One of the guys on the team has 2 wives, and he takes them to the team bowling events with all
breaking news. That's headline news,
massive news. And they're like, we don't talk about it. And I'm like, well, I do. And they're like, well, if you want a job, you won't. And I'm like, I guess I won't tomorrow then. Never mind. But it's like it's worth noting that Nick Cannon is one of those guys, and it's also worth the question. Are there a lot of women out there that are okay with this kind of stuff? Like, is there a lot of women out there that are going, you know what? It's just about having a kid at this point.
Well,
I don't care who it comes from.
And I know I'm going to be taken care of, or I know that kid's going to be taken care of.
Like Elon. Yeah, exactly.
I had a friend that I talked to him and he admitted to me that he was in a polyamorous relationship with his wife.
Yeah.
And so I was fascinated by that. And we had him on. His name's Chris. He lives in the Toronto area. He's a writer, and I went to high school with him, and we reconnected years later, and I've talked to him a couple of times. And I've had him and his partner on the show, on the locker room, and the conversations we had were fascinating. And the one thing that I can add to this that might alleviate it is that he said you would be surprised at the numbers. He goes, it's not like a massive percentage, but you would be surprised if you take 100 random people, how many people from that random group are into and are accepting of a polyamorous or a extracurricular lifestyle, an open relationship. He said it's probably 10%. It's funny because about 6 months later, he said 10% of the population, he said. And then we saw a stat, and it was a breakdown on open relationships and how many people like currently, and it was like 17% of the population are open to the idea of having a conversation with a partner about extracurricular activities outside of the relationship they're in, regardless of what the definition is, polyamorous,
Sounds fucking
or
horrible,
swingers, or any of it. It does sound awful, and it wouldn't be like the way I pictured it was Jerry comes to the house
sounds fucking
Friday
terrible.
at 6 and goes, "Hey, you ready, Deb?" And he's taken my wife back to his place to bang her. I would not be able to live with myself. I just couldn't.
See you in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Make sure you
So,
wash up.
Wash that thing.
Brush your teeth, please. When you come home, that'd be great.
So
Interesting. Here's an
I think
interesting
it's
stat.
more. I think it's
Interesting
more
stat.
common.
1/4 of Canadians are open to non-monogamous
Oh, you
relationships.
fucking.
One
So it's even higher
quarter.
now.
Fucking huge number. I just
That's a
looked that up.
huge number.
The internet
So
fucked
the
everybody
Nick
up.
Cannon thing, he's an attractive man. He probably does not have a lot of problems in a social situation, getting the attention of somebody of the opposite sex. And then he probably very shortly after meeting these women, they all know now, they're he probably talks to them about what his philosophies about relationships are. I said this, he should buy a bunch of homes, put all his baby mamas on the same street, and roll cameras. People would watch that shit. Nick Cannon, come on.
Yeah, funny guy.
They would watch it. It's brilliant.
I have a
Brilliant
question,
idea.
though. I have a question. Has anybody thought about the kids here?
That's kind of it.
Yeah. Is it
Like we're talking about fucking and everything
spreading
else.
your stuff. But I guess, I mean, if you got a healthy way of doing it, because here's the thing. I have 3 kids. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think I've said that. I'm like, it's a lot.
It's a
I think
lot.
this is the word
3
I used,
kids
yeah.
is a lot. Now my kids are a little older. They're a little less work.
Yeah.
He's got 13.
So
I have
think
2,
think
and
about
that was a lot.
think about Lachlan's
Almost
idea
killed me.
there to carry on with what you're saying, Dean. Imagine, and you know how much you love your kids. I love my daughter. You love your boys. Locke, you love your daughters. Now there's another family that your partner's procreated with, and you're supposed to love that kid the same amount that you love your kid. Even
Where are
like
you
I just
getting
don't
that from?
see that doesn't work.
There's no
No.
chance you can love all 12 kids the same.
No
No.
chance. I have
No
3
way.
I don't
kids,
even
and I
like
have
my 2
I have
kids as
favorites.
much. Like
I have 3
yeah.
kids, and I'm like, I know which ones I like the most, and I know which ones I
Yeah.
like the least. He's got 12, guaranteed. He's got like a flight system. He's got
Yeah.
a whole like ranking
He's
system.
got a
of his
point
kids.
system also. He's got a point system.
I tell both my daughters that I like the other one better.
Yeah,
And then they're
just
on
keep
equal
on their
footing.
toes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, as you
Yeah.
should.
And I'm sorry if you're married and you're talking about like an actual polyamorous relationship, which is like the whole, you know how much fucking work that would be for a dude?
Exhausting.
Like, oh my God. Like this
I'm
is
not-
tough
I'm not
enough,
there.
guys.
I'm
Come
not
on.
there. I couldn't do it. I mean, I took the garbage out this morning, and I'm like, what a fucking nightmare this is. Like taking the garbage out. Can you imagine having to do that at 5 homes?
Okay,
Like,
I just
seriously.
think about trying to come home and hearing about my wife's
5
day.
different days? No way. I
Fucking
don't want to hear
no. I can barely get through one.
There are some dudes out there that are way more open to the idea of chaos and then I think we're typical in that we we are comfortable with, like, Dean's comfortable in his situation. I'm very comfortable in my situation. If you add any more stress or drama or like
I freak
anxiety
out.
into my life,
It would be an upset.
I'm not
yeah.
I'm not going to do well.
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
me neither.
already on the verge of
But so
of-
you got to
of a
kind of give
mental
like you
breakdown
got to give Nick
most days.
Cannon credit though, then, right? Because
Yes.
any guy that's like, you know what, sure, why not? Let's roll the fucking genetic dice and let's have another kid.
and I
And
bet you he
I wouldn't
loves
mind
all.
being
I
pulled
bet you
in
he
20
loves
different directions.
all his baby mamas. I bet you he loves all his kids, and he's
for
just
him.
got a way of dealing with.
Yeah, but you
The
bet.
stress.
We don't know that though.
Yeah,
That's the
we don't
thing.
know.
He might be doing what we're
You're
doing.
assuming that he's just a fucking Jesus.
He might be
of
doing what
children.
you and I do on a nightly basis, where we go like this. Oh, for fuck's sakes!
Some guys are just better equipped at dealing with it, right? And he might
Being
be
a-
that guy.
That's a
Imagine taking
full-time social
12
worker,
kids.
is what he is.
Yeah,
at that
12
point.
kids. You got 12
Well,
kids. 12
we can
different
compare
baseball
this-
games, 12 different dance recitals, 12 different
He's
fucking
not doing
piano
any of that
recitals.
stuff. He's
Well,
having sex constantly.
all
He
the
doesn't have time for. He's procreating. He's not
Dad, can
spending
you
any
take
time
me to
with the kid.
baseball? Of course not.
No.
I'm fucking.
Yeah, say I'm trying to make more of you,
Yeah, I'm trying to make a brother.
We can.
Relax.
We can. I got a good comparison.
so I can ignore you more.
Yeah.
The one thing that I have been absolutely amazed at and I think Trump needs credit for this. Donald Trump's life is
Holy fuck.
complete chaos. Does it
Yeah.
look like anything happening in and around his life has any impact on him? It just doesn't. He hasn't aged at all. He's gotten a little heavier, but I mean, you see some presidents, they age 30 years in the 4 that they're in that house.
That
But
is
when you
true.
have someone-
That is a thing.
If you have someone like a Barack
right.
Obama who's like an attractive, healthy man, and he has like thousands more gray when he leaves the White House, it's different
Yes.
than a man who's extremely unhealthy, overweight, looks like a
Mhm.
bag of shit, and he just kind of looks a little bit more like a bag of shit when he leaves, right? So
Could
It
you-
looks
not
like
as-
the same bag of shit.
it's
Could
the
you-
same bag of shit, just a little bit more shittier, right? But if you have someone like
little more
Obama
brown.
who's healthy, and then you put the most stress on the world, in the entire world, on this person, in
yeah,
the free world, of course he's going to age if he's already a
Yeah.
healthy, good-looking person.
Marianne,
Okay.
I honestly think that Donald Trump and Nick Cannon, they don't give a shit about anything going on in their lives. They just don't. They're able to plow through. That's a form of narcissism that will keep you young. It will. And I think Pete's probably got a bit of this too.
I don't know about that. I think he's a troubled guy. I think he's pretty broken. That guy. I think this
so?
is more about. Yeah, I think he's a bit more broken than.
I think you guys are both idiots.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think you guys
Sure.
are both idiots to say
He's
that
talked about it. He's
this
got
guy
he's very
has a
emotionally
big penis.
disturbed.
He's living the dream.
Doesn't matter, and he's living the dream.
The dream.
His
That
hit
he's
list-
doing.
His hit list is Hall of Fame worthy already. Like it's fucking dude. We can sit here and we can debate it all you like. We can talk about the good looking gap. We can talk about the point system. We can talk about all that stuff. You're not Pete Davidson. I'm not Pete Davidson. I'm okay with not being Pete Davidson. Way okay with not being Pete Davidson. But if you think for a second he's going, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he
No.
is. He
No,
wakes
totally.
up every fucking morning going, "What the
He's got a little
again?"
smirk on his face.
I don't
He
think
looks
so.
over.
Yeah.
He looks
He looks over
at
Emily.
Yeah,
No, he
looks
doesn't.
over at
No.
Emily and goes,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck
Yeah.
you, world."
Takes a little grab.
Yeah.
Says, "So I
Living
did
the
that.
dream.
I did
He's
that."
living
Uh,
the dream.
Yeah.
Marianne, how's your podcast? You got a new one coming out? Did you have a new one this last week? Do you have a new podcast coming out?
Oh,
I'm just waving. I'm like, hi, how you doing? You got a new podcast? Is that right?
I had one last week about foraging.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I had
that's
one about
right.
foraging. Yeah,
Checks?
and- Pardon?
Checks?
No.
Documents?
Foraging. No, foraging
Oh.
for food.
Oh. I was right into that for a second. I'm like, fuck, this sounds good. Hell yeah.
Let's take this outside where I
Yes.
learned how to scam the bank.
Hell yeah. Let's take this to white collar jail.
Yeah. That's
No,
where I learned how to
foraging.
Foraging.
bad
Oh, that's
checks
right. You have
we
that
do
chef.
outside.
That chef with you.
Yeah, her
this,
name's
on
Tracy
this-
Little. Yeah. So she's
Fantastic, yeah.
she's a chef in Canmore, Alberta, and she like grew up like hunting and fishing.
I've heard of her.
Do you know Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
She's
she's got a rather
Sauvage.
famous restaurant down
Sauvage in
there.
Canmore. Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to go, my sister works there. So if you want a nice table or something, let me
Oh,
know.
wow.
I will let you know. Sometimes we go down and ski in that area.
Yeah.
But yeah, foraging, and then next week I have a new episode out. What am I talking about? With these two lovely guys who set up a spot in Gatineau Park where they rent all this stuff, but they also like do community projects. Anyway, it's great. I feel weird talking to you guys about it because
Why?
we just spent like an hour talking about penises, and then I'm like,
Pivot.
we're about to talk about
I'm very
paddleboarding and-
outdoorsy. I have a pass for Jasper on my Subaru.
Yeah. I've been outside
Yeah. This
a
week.
few times.
But make sure you download that podcast. It's very good. You're talking about the foraging podcast that you did with the young lady that owns the restaurant in Canmore, as you just said. It's a very interesting podcast because she I know it sounds weird. We could probably forage for a meal a day just in the local park. Seriously. You could probably do that.
There's like
I mean,
leftover
you want to
Burger
consult
King.
when it came to the mushrooms.
I'm not
cooking, but
I'm not doing that here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
A
What
block
would that
away
look
from the
like? What would that
Just
look
LRT.
move
like?
the needles. Just move the needles, and you can find like a half a ham.
what would
sandwich.
look like, Marianne?
I was gonna say, if you were to forage in a park in Edmonton, what would that look like, Log?
Well, you
Not
get
good.
like a couple ounces of Jim Beam in a bottle
you-
that's been thrown
can
into
you
the
eat-
woods.
Can you make dog shit edible?
I don't know if she can. I don't know if anybody can. Anyway, yeah, it's a great podcast. So make sure you download
is
it. Let's
great.
take this outside the name of the podcast. Marianne Iveson is the guest. Make sure you follow her on Twitter at MA on the air.
Am I leaving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to stay.
He's
Not
so
really. What
mad.
else are you guys talking about? I have to
World
leave.
Cup. Talking about the World
Oh.
Cup coming up next. No? Don't want to talk about the World Cup.
Though. What is Log okay?
I want to ask you a question before you
Am
go.
I
Talk about
leaving?
Qatar.
Yep. We want to talk about Qatar. We're going to. Before we get to Qatar, obviously the World Cup.
Qatar. Okay. No.
Big stuff happened. It's 3 days away.
What do you want to
World
ask
Cup's-
me before I leave?
She's done with us. Marianne, I hope
You want to go? Yeah, I'll let you go.
I hope you
Have a
come
break.
back.
No. What was your question? No, I'm just being
No.
a dick. No, what's your question? I'd like to know.
Good luck
I'm
with
done.
your
I don't-
podcast or whatever.
Yeah, good luck with your podcast.
No, can I?
Eating outdoors.
No, what's
Eating
your
outdoors,
what's your
forging
question?
documents.
what's your
I'm not.
what's your
No,
question?
I'm done. Okay, here's the question. Oh, it's not even a question. It's. I just wanted to share this with you as someone who's outdoorsy, someone that goes on these massive trail runs.
Sounds like me.
Chinese man runs 3:28 marathon while chain
Mm.
smoking.
My man. My man.
I actually so I hiked both to Kilimanjaro and
Yeah.
Everest Base Camp with a friend of mine. His name's Patrick, and Patrick he smoked at the time. And Patrick was the most is the most jovial person that I know, and he smoked the entire way up both trips. And he
No
was
problems.
no problems. He was fine. He was
Love
good.
smoking. Maybe
Huh?
Yeah,
I have a feeling
So I
big
could do
cigarette
this?
big cigarette is fine. The story is really incredible. Dude's name is Uncle Chen. That's how he goes by. He's a massive marathon runner, but he also can't stop smoking.
Well, apparently he
Um,
only smokes when he
Are you smoking right now, Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah,
My
he's
man.
smoking in his house. That's what he does.
Okay.
After he ran a marathon in 3 hours and 28 minutes while chain smoking a pack of cigarettes. Last week, photos of him went viral on the popular Chinese media app Weibo when the marathon organizer celebrated his achievement by sharing his finishing certificate. He finished 574th overall out of 1,500
That's
runners,
amazing.
all ages. He's 50 years old. And this is what he does. He apparently only smokes when he runs too. Like he doesn't
Incredible.
chain smoke any other
Yeah.
time. Like he doesn't.
I
sit
only
down and have a
smoke when I
dart.
don't run.
Chen also happens to be an ultra marathoner who has chain smoked his distance of 50 kilometers in 12 hours time.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
He wasn't shooting for a Guinness World Record, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Shooters shoot
Yeah.
and they win. That's what
They've got
do.
pictures of him for years now, smoking and running.
Yeah.
In the years ago in the Tour de France, they
There's
used
his
to
certificate. Chinese people were like, "This guy's a fucking machine. Let's put this in the news. This is unbelievable."
incredible.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
But in the Tour de France, they used to think that the smoking you see all these pictures of them smoking on their bikes because
Yeah.
I think they used to think that smoking like opened their lungs up. So as you're taking a puff.
It
Like
does.
grease is
if
the
you
window
smoke
to
long enough,
opportunity.
opens
Oh.
them right up. You don't even have to
Yep.
get 'em
Okay,
till
thank you for
Great to
having
see you.
me.
Yeah. thanks.
Do you want me to come back for the extra?
You want to
you
do
want
the
me to-
plugs at the end of the show?
Do
Or?
you want me to do the plugs at the end of the show?
No, that's okay. Great to see you, though.
Marianne, good to see you.
Marianne
Love-
Iveson, ladies
Love
and
you.
gentlemen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care,
At
Marianne.
MA
Good to see
on
you.
the air. At MA on the air. That's where you can find her from the podcast. Let's take this. outside.
She was frustrated with us today, I think.
I think she was frustrated with you.
I'm okay
Yeah,
with
it was
that. I'll
mostly
own
you.
it.
Yeah.
I'll chew on that.
I think it was you. I think
started
and
with
I didn't
Dean.
take offense to it.
It started with Dean, and then it shifted
Went
to
to us.
Lachlan. Yeah.
before I let you guys go, you gonna watch the World Cup 3 days from now?
I will watch Canada.
Canada.
I won't be tuning in watching other. We
I'll
talked
pay
about
attention
this
a
morning.
bit.
I
Peripherally.
don't like soccer. I've hated soccer my whole life.
You gonna
don't
watch,
get the
Dean?
sport, but I like Canada. Like watching Canada compete for things.
Yeah, I do too. I'm excited to see Canada play. I'm excited for the World
Same.
Cup. I'm excited for the entire thing.
Yep.
Bad start though.
Horrible.
Fucking terrible start.
What's going on?
Well,
They haven't even started. It doesn't start till Sunday.
I know,
It
which
doesn't
is
matter.
incredible because Qatar paid in the neighborhood of $100 billion in bribe money. They killed a few thousand migrant workers, some prisoners, building all these things. With your human rights.
That's true, eh?
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
That's a fact.
totally. Like
From
5,000
North-
people died doing this. Yeah, it's
From
fucking
heat stroke
unbelievable.
and
Yeah, and so anyway, they had thank you. They had a Danish TV crew show up a few days early to Qatar, right? And I always thought like hosting the Olympics or hosting the World Cup, reason why you wanted to do it is to show everybody how great your country is. It's to show everybody, hey, this is us. Like Vancouver
it's eye on the
2010, remember
world.
that? Yeah, come on in. This is an opportunity to showcase a world-class city in our beautiful country, be good hosts, send people back with good experiences. I don't think Qatar cares much about that. I want you to watch the opening segment from TV2's Russell Holtbrand, I think his name is, from Denmark. Denmark has been very honest about the human rights shit that happens in Qatar as well.
Most outspoken,
Yeah, I want you to watch this really quick because the Qatari police, like they didn't even get into the actual interview before they started busting their cameras, telling them to fuck off. This is unbelievable. Watch this.
Der jo altså bliver udsat for en helt del kritik. Hvordan oplever du forholdene lige nu?
Jamen, vi kan jo vise, hvordan forholdene er lige her, hvis vi drejer kameraet. We are live on Danish television, og der kan I se, nu bliver vi stoppet med at filme, og det er forholdene her. Mister, you invited the whole world to you invited the whole world to come here. Why can't we film? It's a public place. This is the accreditation. Okay. We can film anywhere we want. Okay. There are only, of course,
only for the Qatar. Qatar, you have because the Qatar is
no. We don't need permit. But you can break the camera. You want to break the camera? Okay, you break the camera. Okay. Yes. So you're threatening us by smashing the camera.
Yeah. So then they smashed the camera, and then they arrested 2 of his camera guys. And that isn't the first one. There have been 2 other people from 2 other countries that have been arrested for filming something they shouldn't without knowing that they shouldn't film it.
Like a little stand-up. They're just trying to do like a, hey, we're here. We're going to have a great time.
Do we know? Do we know what they're not supposed to be filming? Like, and I'm not.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. It's like a fucking mystery. They have no idea.
Are they in an area that they're not supposed to?
No one knows.
They're in a public square outside of where they're playing one of the games, and like it was like headline news yesterday that they're actually serving booze for the first time in years in Qatar.
Well, there's a lot of rules on it. Like you can't drink during the games. You can't. There's only designated areas where you're allowed to drink.
Yeah.
So, because we talked about that, because I didn't know much about Qatar, to be honest with you. I know a little bit about like the human rights stuff and things like you hear, but I said to Grant a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, so that's a Muslim country, right?
Yeah,
and they don't drink, right? Like
no,
and it's illegal. From what I remember, a friend of mine was over there and also in Dubai, and it was like, if you get caught with booze, you go to jail.
Yeah, like, and they said that they were going to be we have to be gracious hosts. We know that people from other cultures will be here, so they were trying to look on the surface as like super inclusive, and we're not the terrible people that you think we are. Yeah, and then literally 24 hours later, they're busting camera guys' cameras and throwing them in jail. Like it's insane.
Well, they're warning people about going there too. Like there was, like they were like, don't bring sex toys, don't bring porn,
Bibles,
don't bring booze.
Yeah, Bibles, Christian Bibles,
Christian Bibles. The other thing was don't bring pork. Like you can go to jail if you bring. Not that I travel with a side of bacon, but
pork rinds, dildos, and Jesus books. I'm in.
Can you imagine being like a sex addict who can't get enough bacon?
Trip.
And who's also an alcoholic, and you book your trip
rinds.
and you get all that night, and you're like, oh, I can't do anything I like. I want to go into the World Cup with a butt plug in my asshole, hammered out of my mind with a pocket full of pork tenderloin.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
TripAdvisor, 1 out of 5 will not attend again.
Some of the actual warnings. This is interesting. Qatari welcomes you. This is from Qatar's rules for people who attend the World Cup in 2022. I love it. Qatar welcomes you. Not really. Here's what you're not supposed to do. It says reflect your respect for the religion and culture of the Qatari people by avoiding these behaviors: drinking alcohol, homosexuality, immodesty, profanity, not respecting places of worship.
That's what I was
loud
asking about the
music
guys
and
filming.
sounds.
Were they filming outside of a church or a mosque?
I don't
Maybe.
Loud music and sounds, dating,
That's the best one.
or taking someone's picture without their permission. Those are the
That might have been
things
it.
you cannot do.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
while you're there. You cannot take pictures of people without their permission. So that might have been it.
Yeah.
There was
could be.
nobody in that shot though.
I don't know. I
Maybe
don't
the
think so.
cameraman and the host were dating, and that's homosexuality, dating, and taking
Maybe the
pictures. That's
one guy
3.
was showing too much neck. Maybe he had a beer with him. Maybe he was too loud when he was talking. This is not a country, I just wanted to point this out, where going to the World Cup with your buddies would be a lot of fun.
No.
That poster looks like a fun Saturday night to me, actually.
Well, and the other thing I think worth saying out loud is like this is, I mean, goes without saying. Man, if you got a problem with Canada,
No kidding.
give your head a shake. My God.
Good point.
Look at that. You cannot drink alcohol during the World Cup. Well, then England's not going. By the
Well-
way, if you're gay, don't bother coming. Immodesty. If you plan on showing any skin at all, don't come into our country.
Yeah.
If you swear, we're arresting you. If you walk by a church without bowing your head, we're going to arrest you. If you play loud music, make loud noises, it's the fucking World Cup. What are they going to arrest
Golf
everybody
claps.
cheering? Like, holy fuck, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
And whatever you do, don't get caught dating somebody. So don't go out on a date with your wife in Qatar. And whatever you do, don't take any fucking pictures. That is not a vacation.
You
That's
would be
not
fun.
How the fuck
I'd
did
be
they
on my
get the World
toes.
Cup? How did they get the World Cup?
I wouldn't go. I
Money.
wouldn't go.
229
FIFA.
billion. That's what Paulie told us in our DM section. 229 billion. He said 6,500 migrants and prisoners dead.
Or dead.
And we're
yeah.
all sitting here going, I can't wait for the World Cup. I'm going to watch Canada. Does it make you think twice a little bit about supporting any of
I'll
it?
tell you what makes me
It
think
really
twice.
does.
Coming on this podcast every day, I just get a good dose of guilt. Fuck. Every day, you guys make me feel guilty.
It's a good eye opener, though,
Just
Locke. You
a
got to
big-
admit it.
Big old dose of how do you like your life now, Locke?
It should make us think that we're doing pretty
it
good
does,
here,
yeah.
yelling about fucking masks and
Yeah, that's right.
worried about.
Well, it's
Well,
just
I
it
got-
goes to show, like, you know, we're talking
being
about the
angry
World
about
Cup.
Pete Davidson
People are
and
getting
sleeping
arrested. Yeah, you really triggered by it. Like, these people are getting arrested for going to Qatar. They killed
Yeah.
about 6,500 people just to get the World Cup up. They bribed guys with like $230 billion. You can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't make loud noises, you can't be homosexual in that country during the World Cup. Sure, you can be homosexual. I'm sure there are a lot of homosexuals that are willingly homosexual, but under the guise of night. So, like, that's fucking ridiculous. It's the most archaic, stupid fucking country on the planet. And they're like, you know what? Let's bring the world here. Where not only
You
is
know
fun
what,
not
though?
permitted, but you can't be yourself, and you can't be loud, and you can't talk, and you can't take pictures. And if you do, you're
Really, what is the end game? Because it's not like they need the money. It's not like they need the promotion. So, what was the end game for them to have?
sport
Was it
washing. That's all it is. Sport washing. It's the same thing that every fucking stupid country does. The same reason why they're like, yeah, let's give China the Olympics a couple years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck, let's sport wash the
live
Uyghur
golf?
massacre.
Yeah.
Live golf. Let's sport wash. That's all this is. And you'll see this. And it's amazing because FIFA has no scruples, right? It's fucking unbelievable.
No.
Budweiser is a title sponsor of the World Cup. They're allowed to set up beer tents in Qatar, but they had to pay the government hundreds of millions of dollars just to do it.
Yeah.
Like certain
Just
people.
for name rights. Yeah.
And you can't, here's the thing, There is no signage of Budweiser, nothing. There's just going to be tents and secret areas where you could go in, drink your dick off, and then leave. But if you get caught after you leave, look out. Seriously.
What a
Fucking World Cup.
Yeah,
The World Cup. It's not the best place. Hard to believe, isn't it?
I didn't know a lot about it. I mean, like the North Korea story is crazy about all the, like, they were literally taking prisoners from North Korea to build shit there.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Mhm.
That's insane. That's
Sending them over on
that's
boats. Yeah.
that's slavery. That's
fine there. Yeah.
right.
And you think about it, those North Korean prisoners are they're political prisoners. They're not there because they killed somebody. That's not murderers.
No.
It's not rapists. It's people that just they probably
They put their
hurt
hand up and
Kim
said,
Jong-un's
"Hey,
feeling.
I'm hungry.
yeah,
Go to jail. You're
Yep.
fucking
Yeah.
hungry in
you
jail.
got a stupid looking haircut."
I hope they
Meanwhile-
ran. They should have ran.
Stupid looking haircut. Meanwhile, and this should give us some perspective.
I don't believe you got 18 hole-in-ones.
Yeah.
Go to jail.
I know you shit. You tell people you never shit, but you shit. I know you shit. You're
You're talking about the Supreme Leader, yeah. A little book
Yeah.
on him that said he has 18 hole-in-ones. That's his best score on 18 holes in golf is 18.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Pretty
and he
cool.
doesn't shit.
And he doesn't drop a deucer. Has never done it, which is
Never
incredible.
shit.
Anyway, last thing I want to talk about today. Speaking of outrage, we're all excited for the World Cup for some reason. And we're outraged finding out about the rules around the World Cup, how anti-LGBTQ are, how many people they killed. So that's here. We seem to be okay with it. Like, the biggest problem we have with the World Cup right now in this province of Ontario is that Doug Ford isn't opening up bars at 3 a.m. so people can go and watch their games. So
That's
we're
tyranny.
outraged. The outrage machine is working overtime, as it is today with my last story.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of
Alberta,
people
you
have-
can drink.
Yeah, I know. Alberta's awesome. I love Alberta.
Oh, they did say
Alberta's
it
the
was
best.
okay out there.
Yeah.
They're going to
You
do
go to
it.
Alberta and
Good.
drink your
The
fish off 2
AGLC
in the
is
morning.
allowing you had to apply for a license that allowed you to open up early and to serve liquor early. So yeah, there
And
are
we
places
blanket
around.
denied it here. I didn't even notice. I didn't see the news.
I phoned Dean this morning to rub it in.
Fuck.
On the air. We did a little hit with him.
And you know what? We turned it
missed
into
it.
us talking about how useless he is with tech. It was the best. Anytime he tries to rub it in,
I'm like,
I'm
hey,
gonna get
listen, let's get back to the point. Me making fun of a guy that doesn't drink that he can't drink during the World Cup.
Is that going to be on the podcast? The
Yeah, it's on the
Cruise-
pod. Yeah.
Yeah.
locker room podcast.
So this is a story that outraged everybody today, just to show you how little perspective we have in this country. And I've seen it mostly from dudes, as a matter of fact. People outraged, mostly men are outraged that Girl Guides Canada is going to rename brownies because it has caused personal harm to racialized girls. It's a big story that came out. And I read it this morning and I'm like, all right, whatever. They changed the name of the Washington Redskins to the Commanders. Changed the name of the Cleveland Indians to the
That's a
Guardians.
horrible name, though.
Oh, it's an
the
awful name.
Commanders.
Whatever.
I'd be
It's a terrible
angry
name.
if I was
But
a
they-
Washington football fan.
But oh yeah, it's a awful name. Command what? You guys are fucking terrible. Your quarterback's name is Taylor Heineke, for Christ's sake, who actually balled out last week. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But my point is this: is that
How was that?
brownies is an offensive name to call somebody a brownie. It is an offensive, racialized name,
Where
and there are
where
a
does
lot
it
of people
come
out there.
from?
Hang on, they use it all the time. They
We
use
have
it
it,
all
yeah.
the time. Racialized, radicalized assholes will use that term a lot.
Mhm.
Therefore, because we're smarter, we're a little older, we get to a point where we're like, oh, let's just give these kids another name. You can rename a
Yeah.
fucking NFL football team and a baseball team.
You can rename
Probably
anything.
Rename your Girl Scout organization and the juniors within it to something else. But I was fascinated because I'm like, well, I wonder how they got the name anyway. And apparently it came from the uniforms, Ryan. Is that what I'm to understand?
Well, I think the uniforms were based around the name, and the name came from Bruni. And Bruni is a Scottish folklore character that comes at night and does house chores around the house, like a little fairy.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
and they're usually depicted as with brown skin, so you can understand having a brown skinned servant doing chores around your house might be offensive to racialized folks. And it's something I think that kind of went under the radar. This is not the first time. This is not like we just figured out this
this
week.
is
Oh my God. This has been a thing for years where people have been saying, maybe we should change that. And we've ignored
I
it.
think
We've
we
whitewashed
needed-
it like we've whitewashed it. And that's what we do. And
Yeah, because people of color want it, like that have children of color that are interested in learning some life skills, learning some Girl Scout skills, becoming part of a group.
Yeah.
When they're like, "Hey, you got to start with the brownies," and someone picture a person of color is like, "Why?" Like, what can you?
You know what I
honestly. So you got to
don't
make
feel
it more
comfortable
inclusive
going
because,
there.
and part of it is, hang on, part of it is this, is that they want more people because the organizations are dying. Like, how many
It's
times
dying.
have you gone, oh, Cub Scouts, great, Girl Scouts, great? Like, I mean, if it wasn't for the cookies, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation.
Exactly.
Because the cookies are super fucking addictive.
And
So
boys,
they're
nobody's
like,
buying
listen,
the apples.
if we
saying.
want to, if we want to appeal to a new generation of people, let's rename this segment of Girl Scouts from brownies to something else. And you wouldn't fucking believe. Like, I saw some redneck dudes out there going, fucking Trudeau, there we go again. Fucking ruin
Really?
the country.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
ruined the fucking brownies. He's ruined. My kid was a brownie. She will always be a fucking brownie. Had nothing to do with the color skin. Well, not
Old
to
white
you, you stupid fucking honky. Of course not. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. And you know what? I'm not a woke person, as they say. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, we had the pronoun conversation yesterday. I was going, hey, can you just go up to people and go, hey, what are you?
We were learning.
I was learning, and we're learning about this. If brownies are bad, and if it's upset people, and it doesn't matter what the original intent of the word was, kind of like it didn't really matter that 9 out of 10 doctors chose to smoke Camels in 1930 and they advertised that.
Yeah.
It's still bad for you. Yeah, we evolve, we learn, right? So if you're a dude and you're specifically angry or triggered by the idea, if you're a guy, like a 50-year-old dude, and you're like,
it's so ridiculous.
fucking die on that Girl Scout hill right now.
Brownie
Brownies
hill.
are death. Brownies are death. You're a fucking loser.
You're an
we
idiot.
saw
You
it
know?
here. We saw it here in Edmonton. So the Edmonton Eskimos got renamed, and for years, the Eskimos, the organization, the football organization, would get together with people from the indigenous community and say, and this happened every couple of years whenever it became sort of a hot topic, right? And I remember, like years ago, this was a thing, right? So the Edmonton Eskimos would inevitably release a statement saying, this is why we called our team the Eskimos. We have pride in this name, and we've gone to the leaders of the indigenous communities to ask them if they find the name offensive, and they're saying no, you're good. We love the fact that you're called the Eskimos. So they would release that statement every couple years for like, I'd say, I think I remember maybe 5-10 years of that leading up to the name change. And then there was a concerted effort behind the scenes to change the name of the team, and it wasn't from the indigenous community. They didn't spearhead that conversation. It was done by other groups, right? And I think what ended up happening, and I don't know for sure, I could be telling tales out of school. Maybe somebody from Edmonton has a better idea of how it all went down, but I think they started to go to the Edmonton Eskimo football club's sponsors and go, this is a problem, this is offensive, something needs to be done. And I think also at the time too, there was the team wasn't doing well, so it was adding to this was just another thing to throw at them, and so they changed their name, and people were upset. It is still like I follow the Edmonton Elks, like a couple of groups on Facebook.
It's been 2 years and people are still pissed off.
Yes,
Don't shut the fuck up about it.
So we've gone on a losing streak for 2 years with the Edmonton Elks at home. They have not won a game in 19 games at home. Like it's
they blame the name. They blame the name. Don't they?
They do. So we had the president once a week this season. We had Victor Cui, who used to work with the martial arts, the MMA group in Asia. Like he ran it, and he came back to Edmonton. He's from Edmonton, and now he's taken over the president's and CEO's role at the Edmonton Elks, and he's an awesome guy. and very in touch with the fans and pretty savvy on social media. So we reached out to the team and said, can we have him on like once a week? And so we had him on every week. Our last interview,
he's great.
with him,
His segments are awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's really cool.
Yeah.
You can throw anything at him too. That's what I liked about him. But I said to him at the end of the season, I said, do you think your losing streak has anything to do with the name change?
Like he hasn't heard that 1,000 times this week.
And he goes, you know what? Absolutely it does. If you feel that way, then it does. Because superstition is important for some people. But that's what we're dealing with in Edmonton. There are people that are still angry, and it's like, it's the name of a sports team. I'll never go back until they rename the team the Eskimos.
Think about that. It's like a thing that they love, a team that they love. Probably a lot of those guys, if you're like my uncle Dennis, big Eskimos fan for 80 years, right?
Yeah.
80 years. So they changed the name of the organization, and he's like, I go, what do you think? And he's like, just a name. 80 years. He's been a fan. I'm like, but you're a super fan. You've he's had season tickets for 65 years.
Probably has
Still
merch.
Doesn't even go. Yeah. And he's like, never, just football.
Oh, like a grown, developed human being.
They're going,
good for him.
They're going, you know what? I'm never going to another game. I'm never enjoying myself at a place that I love going, and I've been going for decades and decades.
People are mad.
You know why? Because they changed the name.
They're mad.
All right.
Well, we still get it. We're every week, at least once a week, somebody will call and yell at us about the name change. And the thing is that the irony of it is the team was forced to change the name. Like, they didn't do it. They did it because they were like, okay, enough people have spoken up. Now it's impacting business. Okay, what do you think? And then they threw a bunch of name options at people. And you should have seen how mad people were at the options.
Elks was the best of the worst for those people.
There was
apparently.
the Eagle, the Empire, and like everyone's
I
like,
wanted Empire. I wanted Empire.
Well, they were like,
Edmonton
Empire, you're
Empire.
trying to get away from the potential racist connotations of Eskimos.
Yeah.
And you want Empire in there? Maybe not a good one, guys.
Oh, it just kills me. Like online today, all you saw today was middle-aged white men asking, "What's the big deal?" It's like, I'm not a person of color. I'm not a person of color. I'm not a racialized individual, so I can't answer the question why it's a big deal. I don't know why it's a big deal. Why don't you ask somebody that doesn't look like you why it's a big deal? That was my point today when I brought it up, and I said, they're talking about, like you said, failing numbers. Their numbers are dwindling, and what this is going to do, and I'm hoping it helps, at least make it a little more inclusive. But at the same time, you know what? It's going to be guys like that that are like, I'm not sending my kid to some woke fucking Beavers or fucking Scouts anymore. Fuck that. Meanwhile, these are like really good foundational programs for little boys, little girls that are trying to and we're trying to overcome a socializing debt right now. Our kids have been lacking in socialization skills for the last 3 years because of this fucking pandemic, or 2 years, however fucking long it's been. And any chance we can to get them out and with other people, including brown kids, everybody, let's fucking make it happen. And the white people were on fire this morning.
Yeah.
On fire.
White rage was incredible over the Brownies comment. It was like,
crazy.
Well, they're changing it because some people are upset because of the name. And they're like, I don't understand. And you're like, Brownies? Like, you don't understand that? And they're like, no. And you're like, what?
Little brown fairies
Alberta?
that are slaves in your house? Maybe we should change this.
But that's like what I didn't understand when I read the whole article this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Like, fucking get on with it. Let's do it now. And then like I read the replies to the CTV story because they wrote about it, and it was like, seriously, I'm not kidding you. One guy was like, that pole smoking Trudeau. I'm like, what the fuck?
Trudeau,
now
why
gay people are involved somehow. You know what I mean?
It's unbelievable what we choose to get mad about. I always remember a story about
and these are people that are men that don't have kids that have never been in Brownies. They're just upset by the idea. They're like,
they're just mad because things are changing, and and it's out of their hands.
People can if they could just understand that offering the opportunity of equality to another person doesn't take away equality from you. It's equality. Like you're not giving somebody else more rights and comfortable privilege that you have.
It doesn't mean you're
take
taking
yours away.
Yeah.
It's not.
So-
You're not. It's not costing you a fucking dime.
But that's what
Bob.
white people think, right? Like what white people think. If we got to change what we do here for any reason at all,
That's right.
that means I'm losing because I'm white. And so therein is the whole issue with why Pierre Poilievre is so famous right now. He's like, you're being taken from. It is the same guy, a Pierre Poilievre voter who's like, no, he was right. Look what they're doing to the brownies. Listen to yourself. Are you fucking serious? Listen to yourself. And so everybody's keyed up and ready to go about what they're going to lose. So white guys in Canada today are very upset, very triggered because they're going to lose brownies.
Little girls. They're worried about
Doesn't-
little
who
girls
cares?
social club.
Yeah.
With 50-year-old white guys from Alberta.
Yeah.
worried
My
about the social
grandmother,
club.
was not racist, but went through the war.
Wasn't racist.
And so she had a particular she was triggered by the Asian community, and she died when she was 92. And we knew about this, and my mom would talk to her about it, and there were some growth periods through the years, her latter years. But one particular episode when I was about 15, 16, so this is in the 80s, is we were at the campground and my grandmother's at the door. She goes to the door and she starts getting very angry with somebody at the door. And my mother is like, what's going on? So my mom goes and she brings Lois back into the house. And she's like, Mom, you gotta calm down. And my grandmother is like, I can't believe that they let them into the Girl Guides. And we're like, what happened? So they were coming around to sell cookies. And one of the little girls was Asian. So she was Japanese or Chinese or Korean, or it doesn't matter. It just triggered my grandmother. She was so pissed off that because she went through the war and she still was, this is a Canadian institution. I can't believe that this is happening. And my mom is sits my grandmother down in her 70s, right? 80s, and goes, Grandma, these are Canadians. She was born here. This is the war. You gotta get over this. You can't be having a fight with the Girl Guide cookie salesperson because,
Wait, so you're telling me an old white lady who ran a trailer park was racist?
Yeah, RV park. Yeah. Lois, beautiful lady. Grandma, she was awesome. She was awesome.
This.
I
don't believe what I'm hearing.
I miss the RV
campground. It was a campground.
Oh, it's the same, dude.
Open in the summers.
It doesn't.
That's what they called Sunnyvale too. It was an
Islip Highway
resort.
campground.
It's a resort.
Rest in
Shangri-La.
peace, Grandma.
Which is odd because when you consider the Trailer Park Boys, if you're going to use that as like a trailer park joke, right? It's a trailer park theme.
They were the
trailer
most
park
inclusive
stereotype,
show in
most
this fucking
inclusive
country.
show in Canadian television history.
know.
You're like, yeah. No, we all have those. Remember one time my grandmother told me, I can't even repeat it.
Come on, Locke whipped it out. You got to whip it out too, because I've got one as well. If we're going to go down this road.
Come on.
Baked in racism.
Yeah.
Is also not great with my history. Baked in homophobia for my grandma.
Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the
double
day.
down.
Before they passed, she was like, I remember sitting in the kitchen talking about a friend of mine. This is like 15 years ago, talking about a friend of mine and his boyfriend coming up to see us because we were out in BC. They lived in BC, visiting my grandmother. And at the time, I'm like, oh, my friends are coming up. She's like, who and who? And I tell her who they are. It's like, they're a couple. They're nice people. Went to school with them. What? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, they're married. Men? I'm like, yeah, Graham. Yeah. She's like, why? I'm like, they love each other? She's like, that's of the devil.
Wow.
I was like,
right to 100, eh?
I don't think it is, Graham. I don't think
Right
it is.
to 100.
So I was laying on the kitchen floor literally while she was talking to me. This is like 10 years ago because Graham, right? She's the sweetest lady in the world. Give you the shirt off her back. Help any neighbor. Doesn't matter what you look like. Doesn't matter
as long as
who
you
you
weren't
are.
black or gay.
Oh no, but she just no. Just no issues with people. This was the issue. Church fearing lady brought up to taught this thing. And so now I'm happy to say my grandmother at the age of 90, no longer that way. She fucking absolutely welcomes everybody because she was able to fucking go, yeah, I get it. Right. So yeah, I mean, it definitely existed when we grew up for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I had it too. Like my grandmother, they fled the war and very, very old Eastern European folk. And like even black people, they didn't know what they've never seen black people in Lithuania. Like they didn't have them. There's no tourists there.
Yeah.
My grandmother was at the park with my brother, who's 10 years older than me. And this is so obviously before my time, but this is a family story that goes on along this systemic and familial racism. And my grandmother smoked, and shockingly, and runs in the family. So she's sitting there having a butt. She loved her menthol cigarettes when she came to Canada. She fell in love with that. And she died of heart disease at 63. But she ends up, my brother is playing with his friends, and a black kid comes up and says, "You got a cigarette?" And she barely speaks English. She's like, "Just go." She's very scared because she's never seen black people. And she couldn't explain it, but the old man or the black kid says, "Fuck you, old lady," like "fuck you, lady," whatever, something along that. Fuck, and this trigger, do fuck, fuck, and then she couldn't speak a lick of English, but she found all the racial slurs for black people. They were stored in there somehow, and they all came out. The entire park just falls silent. My poor brother's embarrassed. My mother is in shambles. She's like, "You can't say this kind of stuff." And it was, no. She didn't mean it from a place of hate. She just didn't know what to call him and how to describe it. And it's scary. Yeah. It was scary how that was, like you say, baked in racism. And it was just out of pure ignorance. And yeah, she got over that once she was put in her place.
It's kind of interesting that we make these small steps, right? And it's even my my daughters point things out to me, right? The pronoun conversation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember them trying to explain things to me, when it was a new conversation when they were still at home. Yeah. So, and they were worried about having their friends over around their dad, their dad who's drinking Budweiser in the backyard, who doesn't have an understanding of the way things are now, right? Well, yeah. And I would say things about religion and stuff like that around there, and that we lived in a pretty religious area, and so religious friends were. It was
always around.
There was a conversation in the car on the way to Locke's house with the religious friends.
Yeah, I got in trouble like a couple months ago for telling one of my son's friends who came over, and I was like talking about going to mass, and I'm like, God doesn't exist. You don't need to go to mass. And about 2 hours later, I got a phone call from the mom. He's like,
from the mom,
son, God doesn't exist, and he doesn't need to go to mass. I'm like, yeah, totally. She's like, why? I'm like, well, it's true. She's like, we don't believe that. I go, well, you should.
He's out doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Well, you probably should.
The Lord's work.
Yeah. She's like, well, I know it's true, but he doesn't, and he takes great comfort in it. I'm like, I don't think he does. He just asked me if he could stay here for mass. It's not like he's fucking into church.
He's not missing out. He doesn't really want to go
because it's literally like a drop-in.
He found out I have cheesies. He doesn't want to go to mass.
That's right, real cheesies. That's what, dude. I have his friends come over here and they're like, "Can I hang out here during mass with his friend?" I'm like, I don't care. I don't believe in God, and I'm pretty sure that that's a cult. So for sure you can. And then another parent called me the other day. They're like, "Did you tell my son Catholicism's a cult?" I'm like, "Yeah, totally did." And he's like, "Thank you."
Don't please
tell my wife pissed off his mother, but thank you. He said, "Thank you very much." Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you doing this.
Good to see
you. It was a lot of fun today. That is Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast.
I don't think we accomplished much.
Yeah, we did. We figured
did?
out
Okay.
why Pete Davidson is seemingly homeless looking, but still a 13 out of 10. Figured that out today.
You guys
Yeah.
seem to have come to some sort of solution there.
Talked
All
about
Just
I've
because you
established
couldn't
is-
hold the rope and keep up with the class doesn't mean we
Fuck
didn't
you.
accomplish anything.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. We talked about brownies. We let people know they should chill the fuck out. It's just brownies, dude. Relax. By the way, I was a Cub Scout.
So was I.
No issues.
I was for a day.
I was
Yeah,
for
we
3
heard-
weeks before I got taken out. They're like, you can't stay
It's the
here. I'm like,
best
why?
sex
Because
I
you
had.
keep cutting people with your new knife. And I'm like, all right. So, okay. That's a true story. I was trying to cut 2 guys, and they're like, you're out. I'm like, I can't even make the grade at Beavers. I suck at that so much. It's unbelievable. I had a 6er, and he's like, you're too dangerous with the knife. You're not going to get your knifing badge. And I'm like, whatever. Can I
Knifing
vacuum?
badge.
Can I get a vacuuming badge? Anyway, doesn't matter. But we learned
Sparks.
something about that
My
today.
daughter was a spark too.
We learned about, you know what else we learned? About the World Cup today. A lot of people didn't know some of the information we disseminated. So that's
the
nice.
toilet
That
that
was
Qatar really is. Yeah.
yeah, Qatar is a toilet. You don't ever want to go there. No
Yeah.
word of a lie. And I think we also learned about penis size today and how important it is and how money can cancel out personality when it comes to dating. So
I did find it very interesting hearing Marianne apply a number to certain characteristics, which we seem to gloss over. She's like, all right, we'll give him 2 for looks, 6 for a penis. No one said anything. We just
did.
plowed on.
I did, but you guys kept talking. That's what you
did
did.
were
not.
doing
I
the
stayed
math,
quiet.
and you
I was
went,
learning.
Hold on. 2 for looks, 6 for the penis.
I'm telling you,
was
I'm convinced that if you have a big penis and you're an ugly person, you've still got a shot. Doesn't matter how you look.
Okay, here's
See
what
my
we'll do.
wife?
And we don't have
How
any.
does this get my wife?
Have we got 3 guys with big penises? There we go. You're looking
not
for a new
saying anything,
podcast
yeah.
name.
Just having some cheese.
The Lot of Cock podcast. The Hog. It's just called
I
the
don't like
Hog, like Toronto. It's like a Toronto radio station. It's called
I don't
The
like
Hog.
to say. I don't like to talk about that part of myself.
I do
But
all
there
the
is a
time.
reason why I'm eating cheesies.
To
I have
stop you
got
from
very
talking
little
about it.
going. I have very little going for me. So if we're putting
Yeah.
together a list of things that are like on the positive side of the lock scale,
Yeah.
there's very few things. So I gotta highlight the dick, right?
Mhm.
Atta boy. I'm
right.
proud of you. I knew you'd put that up, Linz.
I know.
I knew you would.
I saw you looking for
What
it.
a
You didn't do
fucking
it.
self-grifter this guy
God
is.
damn right.
That's why you're not in charge of promos anymore, because every time you do one, you make it about
Oh,
yourself.
me.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. You guys take all the fucking airtime. I got to get something.
Well, it's because we know what we're
I got to
doing.
get mine. I got to get mine. I got to get mine somewhere.
I know.
I don't want to have a talk about promos because
Oh, you're
Somehow
in
I'm
trouble.
gonna end
You're in a
up
lot
doing-
of trouble.
3 big dick pricks, 3 big prick stick podcast.
Our entire production
hard
team is
stick.
on strike because of fucking Glenn. Right now.
Yeah, you pissed off
Crazy.
Rookie. You
You
pissed
pissed
off our
everybody
head of
off.
production. He started calling you Rick in the DMs. You guys started arguing. I'm like,
Yeah.
guess we're not having any promos anymore because Rick and the Dick are going at it.
Yeah. I believe he
All right,
he,
boys.
he likened himself to QP and Doug Ford. He said he's on strike.
Yep. Thanks a
It was
lot.
good
Thanks,
to see
buddy.
you boys today. All right.
Lock
good
and
to see
Cross
ya.
957 Cruise FM at Edmonton at Lock and
Going to
Cross
get
on Twitter.
cheesies.
That is
I
Ryan
know.
Lindley, Lynn's Report. At Ryan Lindley on Twitter is where you can find him. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. These are not Cheetos. We went over this to start the show. Okay. A lot of people are weighing in on the comment section now, saying you want Cheetos now. These are not Cheetos. Do not call these Cheetos. Cheetos are not cheesies. We've been over that. These are cheesies. Hawkins cheesies. This is a post-war delicacy. It's deep fried corn pellets, roasted in cheese. But you can't get cheesy because these are cheesies. So when you're out there going, oh, fuck, I got some cheesies and they're Cheetos, you don't have cheesies. You got Cheetos. And cheese puffs are not cheesies either. They're cheese puffs. So while you're all sitting there going, Ooh, I want cheesies. We'll get cheesies and don't get cheese puffs. Yeah, I'm fucking triggered. Big time. I've been over this thousands of times. It's like a personal bugaboo of mine. How so many people out there pass along the Cheeto as a cheesy. It is not. It is a cheap imitation that some lackluster cheese snack bitch made, trying to bogey the market dominance of Hawkins Cheesies, made by W.T. Hawkins in 1952, here in Tweed, Ontario. That's right, I'm licking my fingers now. While you guys are out there with your Cheetos, I just had the real deal. I don't even care. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say about Cheetos, cheese puffs. I don't care what your snack routine is. These are cheesies. Everything else is bullshit. Didn't even pay me to say that. But you can. And I'll do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for paying attention today. We appreciate it. Thanks to my friend Marianne Iverson from the Let's Take This Outside podcast. Make sure you download it wherever you get your fine podcasts, by the way. Google, Apple, Spotify, etc. if you're an outdoorsy person. It's one of the biggest outdoor podcasts in all of Canada. She does an unbelievable job, so make sure you download it. Her latest guest owns a restaurant where she forages for food. Your food. But it's good. It's great. Anyway, let's take this outside. Thanks to Marianne for being on with us today. Thanks to Lachlan Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton, 957cruisefm.ca. Listen to him every weekday morning, host of the Locker Room in Edmonton. That is my friend Ryan Lindley. That is it for us. We are out of here. And want to thank our friends at kivlaw.ca. Are you looking for legal representation? Do you need some help in the legal department? Are you struggling right now because you've got something hanging over your head? I got your guy and your people. Kivlaw.ca. Send Robert an email today, robert@kivlaw.ca, if you're looking for great legal representation, a great defense attorney. Doesn't matter what it is. Accused? Did you do something? You just want to get out of it, right? You want to learn from it, and you need somebody there that's going to legally hold you accountable while at the same time protecting your freedom and giving you peace of mind through that legal process. Kivlaw defense lawyers are the best in Southern Ontario. Make sure you get in touch with Robert if you have an issue. Robert@kivlaw.ca. Send them an email today. Can't do this without our friends at Cantork. 20 years. They've been doing this for 20 years. What have they been doing? Giving you some of the most rugged, hardworking, beautiful torque wrenches in the world, industrial applications, Canada's leading industrial tool experts, offering you the best in sales, service, rentals, calibration, maintenance, custom fabrication. If it's a loosener or tightener, if it's a fastener, these guys will make a tool that will make that job a million times easier, and they are the best in the world at what they do. No matter the scale of your bolting project, they have their solution. All you need to do is go to cantork.com. Again, cantork.com. If you have any more issues or any issues that you need fixed, they've got a product line that can fix your issues. They're dedicated to providing the correct tool for the job. Their slogan is problem solved. That's a pretty good slogan. Problem solved. That's what we do here. We're problem solvers. But these guys are real passionate about identifying and eliminating the issue related to threaded fasteners. Their mission to design, manufacture, supply quality industrial torque wrenches, bolting tools, complementary products that are among the best in the industry. All their product lines have been developed to exact standards. They're designed to last a lifetime. Request a product demo. Get in touch with these people. They are beauties out in Edmonton. Canadian manufactured, Canadian made. Go to cantork.com today. And at Ed's Fine Imports, we want to say thank you to you and everything you do for us, giving us our gitch. We all get gitch from Ed. What is this stuff? What's the gitch? Easy. Gitch is his luxury branded underwear, boxer briefs, pouch in the front. You can't miss with these things. I swear to God. Everybody's got a thing about certain underwear, or if you're from out west, underwears. I have a thing for these Gitch, and every person I've turned on to them has a thing for these two. You will never buy another pair of underwear. Boxer briefs, pouch for your stuff, super soft, breathable. The waistband's incredible. They're luxury branded underwear, and they're at a great price. In fact, they're free now if you use promo code GITCH and then the number 3 when you check out and you buy 2 to 3 or more. I think it's 3 or more pairs. You get a free pair of underwear. And everybody needs to stock up for the winter, right? You're not going to be doing a lot of shopping in the winter, but you can shop online. Massive online store at Ed's Fine Imports. GITCH3 is your promo code, edsfineimports.com. And that's pretty much it for us. Have a great day. Appreciate everybody being here. We will see you tomorrow on this very program. David Wallace will be joining us, Canadian fixer who is going into hiding after the, I'm not kidding you, he's going into hiding after the interview. Wild, huh? Anyway, David Wallace will be here. We'll check in with our boy from Cantork as well, Colin Livingston. So we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.